नमस्ते। एच बॉयज न्यूज और एच बॉयज प्राइम के तरफ से अगस्त 15 तारीख को जो भारत में इंडिपेंडेंस डे के रूप में पालन किया जाता है, उस दिन हम स्वाधीन हो गए थे। उसका अर्थ क्या है, ये सब बातें तो चर्चा की विषय है ही, परंतु उस दिन हम आपके लिए लेकर आने वाले हैं एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट्री जो शायद आपने कभी देखा ना हो, कभी सुना ना हो। हम बात करेंगे उस डॉक्यूमेंट्री में कि एग्जैक्टली क्या हुआ था अगस्त 13 तारीख से लेके अगस्त 15 तारीख तक। भारत की आज़ादी का दिन कैसा था, इससे पूर्व और बाद की विषय बाद में बात होगी, परंतु 13 से लेके 15 तारीख तक भारत की आज़ादी का दिन अगस्त 15 तारीख कैसे पालन किया जाता है और क्यों किया जाता है, और उस दिन एग्जैक्टली हुआ क्या था। What happened exactly on August 13th, August 14th and August 15th? You will get this in this documentary. Let's start. Kolkata, August 13, 1947. 36 hours before the date fixed for India's independence, Mahatma Gandhi left the restful coconut grove of Shodpur Ashram in search of a miracle. His destination was only 10 miles from his ashram. जहां उनको जाना था वो सिर्फ 10 माइल दूर था. But it might have been light years away. रास्ता छोटा था, परंतु उस समय की गंभीरता ऐसी थी कि लंबी राह अपनाना है. His destination was 10 miles, but it might have been light years away. It was the closest approximation of hell on the surface of earth. One of the blighted slums of the closest approximation of hell. Rudyard Kipling's City of Dreadful Night, Kolkata. There, in the meanness and misery of the world's most violent city. At this time, it is one of the most violent cities of the earth. There, in meanness and misery of the world's most violent city, the soft-voiced archangel of non-violence, Mahatma Gandhi, hoped to perform the miracle that Viceroy's armies could not perform. Once again, the artisan of India's independence prepared to offer his life for his countrymen, this time to free them not from the British, but from the hatred poisoning their heart. इससे पूर्व में जाएंगे तो वो दिन ऐसा था जहां पर पूरी बंगाल में हिंदू मुसलमानों के बीच आपसी लड़ाई, आपसी रंजिश की कहानी रची जा रही थी. उसको रोकने के लिए ब्रिटिश की आर्मी सफल नहीं हो पा रहा था, इसलिए गांधी जी अगस्त 13 तारीख 1947 को निकल पड़े थे. इस बार आजादी उनको इस चीज से नहीं चाहिए था कि ब्रिटिशर्स को अब जाना है. आजादी उस चीज से चाहिए था, आजादी उस बात की थी कि हमें ये जो अपने भीतर विद्वेष है उससे कैसे दूर जाना है. Once the broad terrace of Hydri house of the Doric pillars and carved balustrades had represented the Palladian dream transposed into the tropics of some English merchant prince. Its current owner, a wealthy Muslim, had long ago abandoned it to the rats and cockroaches running rampant in the dingy corridor. Swept out, the dark coils of human excrement littering in the ground, blanketed with bleaching powder, the toilet heredity in Kolkata, which had recommended the building for Mahatma, repaired. It was ready to receive Mahatma and his followers. There, amidst the strange filth and mud, it had now begun his quest for a miracle. Gandhi reached a place. गांधी जी क्लीनलीनेस पर ज्यादा बातें करते थे, परंतु उनके लिए जो बंगला तैयार था वो बंगला गंदगी से भरा था. The people upon whom he would have to work it were already waiting for him. An excited, aroused crowd is undershirts and dhoti. They were all Hindus, and many of them were relatives of butchered wives, daughters raped by Muslim mobs of Direct Action Day. Direct Action Day मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना और सुरवर्दी इन दोनों के निर्देश से हुआ था, जिसमें मुसलमानों ने हिंदू महिलाओं की बलात्कार करी थी, हिंदू महिलाओं को मारा था, ऐसे कितने लोगों को मारा था। आज महात्मा गांधी आए थे तो हिंदू को ये एक्सपेक्टेशन था कि महात्मा गांधी उनके साथ न्याय करेंगे। The people upon whom he would have to work, already they are the Hindus. At the approach of his car, they began to shriek Gandhi's name. For the first time in 3 decades, however, Indians were not cheering Mohandas Gandhi's name, they were cursing it. For the first time in the history of non-independent India, Gandhi's name was taken as curse. उनको गाली के रूप में माना जा रहा था, because the Hindu community of Kolkata believed Gandhi did disservice to them. गांधी ने जो किया वो उनके प्रति डिसर्विस था। Faces conjured with rage and hate, they shouted, "Go save the Hindus in Noakhali," because in Noakhali the Hindus were butchered in the hand of Muslim mob, and they were expecting some kind of a return to normalcy. The traitors of Hindu. Then, as Gandhi's car stopped, they produced their welcome for the man half the world believed a saint. They showered the car with stones and bottles. So there was anger among Hindus all over Kolkata, all over West Bengal, that Gandhi has not done the kind of justice he could have done for Hindus. हिंदू गुस्सा था गांधी से। गांधी को उस समय भी आधा दुनिया संत तो मानता ही था, परंतु गांधी के खिलाफ वो गुस्सा वो देखने लायक था। गांधी के खिलाफ, गांधी के लिए ये गुस्सा देखकर ऐसे लगता है उस समय का हिंदू प्रताड़ित, जितना प्रताड़ित था उससे ज्यादा इस बात से परेशान था कि जिनको उन्होंने मसीहा माना, जिनको उन्होंने माना कि ये संत आदमी हमारे लिए न्याय करेगा, वो न्याय नहीं कर पा रहा। Slowly, one of its door opened. The familiar figure emerged. Glasses slipping down his nose, one hand clutching his shawl and the other raised in a gesture of peace. The frail 77-year-old man walked alone into the mob's shower of stones. The stone was pelted upon Gandhi's car and there was a chance that he could be hurt. उनको लग सकती थी, उनके साथ कुछ बुरा हो सकता था, परंतु गांधी में वो दम था कि गांधी अकेले अपने कार से निकले और मॉब के पास गए। You wish to do me ill, Gandhi called, and so I am coming to you. कि तुम मेरे को मारना चाहते हो, मुझे नुकसान पहुंचाना चाहते हो, मैं तुम्हारे पास ही आ रहा हूं। At that sight, at his words, the demonstrators froze, because जब आप लड़ाई के लिए तैयार हो और सामने वाला बोले कि मुझे पीटना है तो आप पीटिए, तो यू डोंट नो हाउ टू रिएक्ट, क्योंकि वहां की मॉब तो इस तैयारी में था कि गांधी उनसे छुपेंगे। गांधी जब उनको फेस करने लगे तो उन लोगों को भी पता नहीं था कि करना क्या है। Drawing near, the high voice that pleaded with kings and viceroy for India pleaded with them for reason. गांधी जो इससे पहले राजाओं से, वाइसरॉयों से, बहुत सारे वाइसरॉय रहे, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करते थे भारत की आजादी के लिए, आज वो अपने ही लोगों से इस बात की भीख मांग रहे थे कि आप प्लीज चीजों को समझने की कोशिश करिए। गांधी सेड, I have come here to serve Hindus and Muslims alike. I am going to place myself under your protection. You are welcome to turn against me if you wish. He continued, I have nearly reached end of my life's journey. I have not much further to go, but if you again go mad, I will not be living witness to it. गांधी ने उनसे कहा कि मैं सिर्फ हिंदुओं से मिलने नहीं आया हूँ, ना सिर्फ मुसलमानों से मिलने आया हूँ, मैं यहाँ आया हूँ आप सभी से मिलने, और मेरी जिंदगी बहुत कुछ बची नहीं है, मैं अपने आप को आपके हवाले करता हूँ, मुझे प्रोटेक्ट करने का काम आपने ही करना है। और ये सुनते हुए the whole crowd got silent for a moment. He was saving the Hindus of Noakhali by his presence in Valighat Road. Gandhi explained, नोआखाली में हिंदुओं के ऊपर जो आक्रमण हो रहा था, गांधी की प्रेजेंस से वो आक्रमण रुक सकता है, ऐसा गांधी ने उनको समझाया। The Muslim leaders who bore the guilt for the slaughter of so many Hindus and Noakhali had given him their word. Not a single Hindu would be harmed there on August 15th. ये अगस्त 13, 1947 की बात है। 15 तारीख तक किसी हिंदू पर आक्रमण नहीं होगा, ऐसे नोआखाली की मुस्लिम लीडर्स ने गांधी से प्रॉमिस किया था। They knew he would undertake a fast unto death if they failed to keep their promise. वो अपनी प्रॉमिस नहीं रख पाएंगे तो गांधी फिर से फास्टिंग पे चले जाएंगे, ये उन लोगों को मालूम था। In response to that pledge, he had come to Kolkata. As he had thrust on the Muslim leaders of Noakhali the moral responsibility for the safety of the Hindus in this midst, he was now going to try to pursue the Hindus of Kolkata, like the members of the angry crowd before him, to become the protector of the city's Muslim. Implicit in his effort was the idea that if his plea to Kolkata's Hindu failed and they went on rampage of killing, it would be at the expense of his life. For just as he would fast to death if the Muslim broke the word in Noakhali, so he was ready to fast to death if the Hindu ignored his message in Kolkata. गांधी सिर्फ हिंदुओं को प्रोटेक्शन करने नहीं आए थे, तो उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा कि मैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ जो फास्टिंग करूंगा कि मुसलमान हिंदू को मार रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा हिंदू भी मुसलमानों को मारेंगे तब भी मैं फास्ट करूंगा। वो हिंसा नहीं चाहते थे, इसका परिचय दे रहे थे। It was the essence of his non-violent strategy, a contract between the warring parties with his life as the ultimate guarantee of its fulfillment. How can I, who am a Hindu by birth, a Hindu by deed, a Hindu of Hindus in my way of living, be enemy of the Hindu? He asked his angry countrymen. All the Hindus there are saying that Gandhi was essentially working for one and only, Gandhi is working for Muslims. So what he is saying कि I am a Hindu by birth, मैं पैदा हिंदू हुआ हूँ और मेरे काम से भी मैं हिंदू हूँ। मैं हिंदू रीति नीति में विश्वास करने वाला व्यक्ति हूँ और मोटा मोटा मुझे मुस्लिम लीग कह रहा है मैं हिंदुओं का लीडर हूँ, तो मैं हिंदुओं के खिलाफ कैसे जा सकता हूँ? Gandhi's reasoning, the stark simplicity of his approach, puzzled and disturbed the crowd. Promising to talk further with the delegation from their midst, he and his follower began to take over his rotting mansion. The respite was brief. जब गांधी कोलकाता पहुंचे, थोड़ी सी शांति रही. The arrival of Suravati, the locus of all the mob's hatred, was the Prime Minister of Bengal. On the right-hand man of Muhammad Ali Jinnah produced a new explosion. Howling, jeering, the crowd circled the house. A stone crashed through one of its few windows, sending its shattered shards flying across the room where Gandhi sat. A barrage followed, smashing the rest of the windows, beating like gigantic hailstones against the decaying exterior of the house. So there was attack on Gandhi's house, जहाँ पे गांधी रह रहे थे, क्योंकि उनसे मिलने सुरवर्दी पहुंचे थे. Outwardly imperturbable Gandhi, his shoulders hunched, his head bowed, squatted cross-legged on the floor in the center of the house, patiently answering his correspondence in longhand. Yet a terrible turning point in Gandhi's life had been reached. On this sweltering August afternoon, August is sweltering in Kolkata, even today. आप अगस्त में कोलकाता या ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में जाएंगे तो बहुत पसीना निकलता है. Gandhi, Gujarati, would feel the heat at that time. Only hours before the end of India's long march to freedom, a mob of his countrymen had turned on him for the first time since January Day in 1915, when he walked ashore under the Arc of Gateway of India. For Gandhi, for India, for the world, the crash of the stone against the walls of Hydri House, the hate-inflamed raving of the mob, hurling them were the first muttering of the chorus of Greek tragedy. So everybody expected that independence will cure all the problems of India. but it was creating another problem which nobody expected it to. It was creating difference between Hindu and Muslims, because division of this country is going to happen on the lines of Hindu and Muslim 2 days after the day I am explaining to you, in 15th of August 1947. And what is happening in Karachi? Karachi, August 13, 1947. Sir, the plot is on. Louis Mountbatten stiffened perceptibly at those words. A glimmer of apprehension flicked across his otherwise passive features. Mountbatten followed the man who uttered them towards a spot under his plane's wing where no one could overhear his words. उनसे मिलने के लिए कोई इंटेलिजेंस की ऑफिसर आया होगा, जो पब्लिकली वो बात करेंगे तो उनकी नौकर हैं, चाकर हैं, जो खाना कुक हैं, उनको आवाज आ जाएगी. All their intelligence reports, the CID officer said, confirmed the detail of briefing Mountbatten had been given in Delhi. At least one and most probably several bombs, they believed, would be thrown at the open car scheduled to carry him and Jinnah through the Karachi street the following morning. उसकी अगले दिन जो सुबह थर्सडे अगस्त 14 तारीख को मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना और माउंटबेटन एक ओपन कार में ट्रैवल करेंगे और आजादी को सेलिब्रेट करेंगे, उनके ऊपर बमबारी हो सकती है. Despite their most intensive effort, they failed to apprehend one of the Hindu fanatics that had infiltrated the city to carry out the assassination. There was rumors that there was some Hindu supremacist group was sent someone to attack on Jinnah and Mountbatten. Mountbatten और जिन्ना जो है एक ओपन कार में, ओपन जीप में ट्रैवल करने वाले थे टू सेलिब्रेट द इंडिपेंडेंस डे ऑफ पाकिस्तान. एंड देयर वाज अ चांस, द CID ऑफिसर वाज सेइंग कि दे कैन थ्रो बम एट यू. To Mountbatten's annoyance, his wife has slipped up behind them. She overheard the CID officer's last phrase, "I'm going to drive with you." She insisted. "You damn well are not," her husband replied. Mountbatten's wife, उनकी पत्नी ने उनको बोला कि मैं आपके साथ ट्रैवल करूंगी. Which his husband, Mr. Mountbatten, said, "No, there is no reason for both of us to be blown to smittenness because there is a probability of attack on the cavalcade." जो cavalcade में वो जाएंगे उसके ऊपर बम फेंका जा सकता है, तो जरूरी नहीं है कि माउंटबेटन मरेगा तो उसकी वाइफ मरेंगे, ये वो बोल रहा है. Ignoring their exchange, the CID officer continued. Jinnah insisted on driving in an open car. He said, "You will be going very slowly. I am afraid our means of protecting you are rather limited." Because Karachi was essentially now being built. It was an army center somehow. The Indian army, which was guided by the British army. So they're saying that we don't have enough means and enough resources to protect you. "Sir," he begged, "you must get Jinnah to cancel the procession." 18 hours after an angry mob had stoned the greatest Indian of the century at 9 a.m. Thursday, August 14th, Gandhi's political rival prepared to savor the apotheosis of the long struggle. गांधी के ऊपर आसपास सुबह, रिकॉर्ड कहते हैं सुबह 9 बजे अटैक हुआ था, तो उसके अगले दिन जिन्ना इसको सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए ओपन जीप में जाने वाले हैं, तो उनके जीवन प्रति भी डेंजर है. और CID, पुलिस फोर्सेस, आर्मी का कहना है वो जिस तरीके से ओपन जीप में जाना चाहते हैं उसको कैंसिल कर देना चाहिए. Muhammad Ali Jinnah has succeeded where the sorrowing leader in the ruins of Hydri House has failed. Despite Gandhi, despite so many dictates of logic and reason, despite above all the fatal disease locked in his lungs, Jinnah has divided India. Gandhi never intended to divide India, and Jinnah is able to do it. Despite Gandhi, despite so many dictates of logic and anything, they didn't. In a few moments, on an Ashtrayi Assembly Hall in Karachi, would witness the birth of most populous Muslim nation in the world. Reigns in the hell set of halls, circling rows of seats, were the representative of 45 million people. Jinnah had led to the Hegri to nationhood. Hegri means the idea that a nation can be formed on the basis of religion. That was not possible 50 years, 70 years, 100 years ago. But Jinnah made it possible. There was colorful assembly, stolid Punjabis in grey astrang caps, tightly buttoned sherwanis, white versions of priest Krashok, glowing Pathans, Wazirs, Mashoods, Afridis, big and gold-flecked turbans twisted over their head, moustache scaring the winged, burdened face, short, dark Bengalis, representative of the province that Jinnah had never visited and whose people he mistrusted, tribal leader from Baluchistan. Women from the Indus Valley, the heads sided with satin burqa, women of the Punjab in gold-speckled salwars, tunics over bell-bottomed slitters. So they are celebrating independence, which they got from India and from British as well. And everything was ready for a celebration of Jinnah being the new Governor General of Pakistan. Beside Jinnah sat Viceroy, from whose reluctant hands the Muslim leader had praised his state. Mountbatten wore his white naval uniform. Miss Mountbatten was from Navy, तो white color की क्लर्क जो आज भी इंडिया के Navy पहनता है वो पहने हुए थे. The decoration he so loved to wear, he was a splendidly fitting figure for the occasion. The first of the ceremony, which in the course of next 36 hours would formally dominate Britain's 3.5 century of overlordship of the subcontinent. In the subcontinent, they remained for 350 years. A taut smile creasing his composed features, Mountbatten rose to deliver King's good wishes to the newest dominion. Then Mountbatten, to celebrate an occasion he hoped would never take place, declared, "The birth of Pakistan is an event in history. History seems sometimes to move with the infinite slowness of the glacier, sometimes to rush forward in a torrent. Just now, in this part of the world, our united efforts have melted the ice, moved some of the impediments of the stream. We are carried in the flood. There is not time to look back. There is only time to look forward." That's what Lord Mountbatten, the Viceroy of East while British ruled India, said on the day of independence of the Islamic State of Pakistan. With those words, Viceroy looked sideways towards Jinnah, his disdaining face. Jinnah was disdained. His parchment dry skin emitted, even at the supreme instant, no more traces of emotion than the features of pharaonic death mask. "I would like to express my tribute to Mr. Jinnah," Lord Mountbatten said. He declared, "Our close personal contact and mutual trust and understanding that has grown out of it, I feel the best omen for the future relations, that we'll have wonderful relations with Pakistan." As he droned through his ritualistic phrase, Mountbatten could not help thinking that he was going to have to risk his life in few moments because a bureaucrat man whom they were addressed. The Viceroy had no more success in persuading Jinnah to cancel his threatened procession. उनकी procession threatened था, उनकी procession के ऊपर threatening bomb threat था, परंतु जिन्हा नहीं माने. जिन्हा ने बोला मैं जाऊंगा. The Viceroy had no more success in persuading Jinnah to cancel his threatened procession that he had in trying to get him abandon his dream of Pakistan. To cancel the ride or to rush through the streets of Karachi in a closed car would have been Jinnah felt an act of cowardice. जब उनको बोला गया कि बॉम्ब थ्रेट है आप मत निकलिए, जिन्हा ने बोला कि ये मैं करूंगा, तो जो देश अभी पैदा होने वाला है उस देश की लोग जिंदगी भर मुझे एक कापुरुष के रूप में, एक कावर्ड के रूप में जाने जाएंगे, मुझे जानेंगे. Jinnah would never have demanded the emergence of the nation for which he had worked so hard with a gesture like that. Come what may, Mountbatten was going to have to expose himself to an assassin's bomb in open car. His life is in danger, but he has to expose himself. These kind of dangers come with the power you get. Come what may, Mountbatten was going to have exposed himself to an assassin's bomb in an open car at the side of the man he disliked, to celebrate the worth of a nation to whose creation it had been vehemently opposed. The time has come to bid you farewell, he concluded. May Pakistan prosper always, and may she continue in friendship with her neighbor, with the nation of the world. कि सभी के साथ पाकिस्तान की दोस्ती बनी रहे, पाकिस्तान बहुत प्रगति करता रहे, पाकिस्तान प्रॉस्पर करता रहे. Then it was Jinnah's turn. He looked like a pope giving an audience to the faithful. And मुसलमानों में तो उलमा होते हैं, परंतु उस दिन वो पोप के तरह लग रहे थे. He was an English educated man. His white sherwani buttoned up to the base of emaciated throat. England and the people he had colonized were parting as friends, he agreed. But I sincerely hope that we shall remain friends. 13th century Islamic tradition of tolerance for belief of other, he promised, be followed, practiced by us. Pakistan, he declared, would be found wanting in friendly spirit by our neighbors and all the nations of the world. Then almost before they knew, the speeches were over, the trial at hand. Side by side, two men, rivals in many domains, emerged from the great teacup doors in the assembly hall. Waiting before them was the black open Rolls Royce, which was carry them through the ordeal. The damn thing looked like a hearsay, Mountbatten thought. For a brief second he fixed his eye on his wife. He had given her driver strict order to stay well behind his car. He was certain that she would find a way to thwart them. As they moved towards waiting car, a series of grisly images forced their way across Mountbatten's mind. A vivid mental picture screened behind his carefully arranged public facade. They had nothing to do with this procession. They were ghosts of the procession past, stirred by the pages of genealogical charts, which had been Mountbatten's passion and relaxation in India. Onto one of the braces, he had meticulously placed the name of the great uncle, the Shah Alexander II, noting his name, deceased 13th February in 1881. Alexander II had been blown into the lungs of the Shorten place in St. Petersburg by a bomb thrown into the open carriage. It's a great story of courage what Sir Alexander II did. But the story is about how distracted they are. How Jinnah was distracted, how Mountbatten was distracted. Mountbatten and Jinnah fight like hell. But today, this is birth of a new country. And Jinnah, in his first speech, Jinnah ने अपनी पहली भाषण में ये बोला था कि इस्लामिक टॉलरेंस हम दिखाएंगे, दूसरे धर्म को कभी हम जाति नहीं होने देंगे और पाकिस्तान के अंदर सभी धर्मों के लोगों को रहने की व्यवस्था की जाएगी. And on the steel page, the entry bearing the name of his cousin Ina, who had gone to her wedding in Spain, Alfonso XIII, a satin wedding gown covered with his flesh, blood of coachman killed by a bomb thrown at his carriage. So Mountbatten को लग रहा है मैं मरूंगा बॉम्ब से तो मैं कैसे लगूंगा उनके आंखों के सामने, because the whole family of Mountbatten has fought wars for Britain. तो उनको ये लगता है कि मैं भी मरूंगा तो सिर्फ मुझे कुछ मांस के टुकड़े में पाया जाएगा. Godskew phantoms from his family's past, they seemed now to crowd his royal race along with young viceroy. His eyes met Jinnah's car, started. They didn't speak. वो आपस में बात नहीं कर रहे थे. They had never known Jinnah to be anything but tense, Mountbatten thought. But now the tension radiating from his being had an almost palpable living dimension to it. Someone's irritation, someone's grievances made a country out of India. A heart-stopping, thirsty, one gone, visceral salute followed them down the drive into Karachi Street. There the crowd was waiting, enormous, happy, exulting crowd, a sea of anonymous faces concealing somewhere on some street corner, at some turning, and at some window.